Greetings, everyone! Welcome to Legacies of Caine, the Vampire the Masquerade RPG show. If you are just joining us, a lot of crazy stuff has happened. There was a supernatural auction in Hawaii that you really should catch up on. A lot of adventures that after that, but the entire goal of it was to collect these 3 chalices, which our team now has, leading into what the heck do these mean and where are they going to lead us. So let's have people give like a little bit of information about their character, what they're feeling, kind of things like that, and we're going to start with Nathan now.
Well, we don't owe a huge favor to Horatio, so that's good. We didn't die, also good. We didn't, as far as I can tell, lose any money on anything, which is good. I mean, we used a lot of money, but didn't, like, go into massive debt for a bunch of people that we don't like. Now we just have to find Beckett.
Yep. How about Dawn next?
Well, had interesting cockroach adventures that I don't remember, but I assume they were good, so that was fun. Not gonna get so creeped out by Ryan anymore, so that's good. You know, he can change into a bug and I won't possibly run away in fear. And you know, being awake again is pretty good, but also there's something dark lurking in my unconsciousness and I don't like it.
Yeah, that seems to happen.
Yeah.
Dark things lurking in your unconscious. And how about Emil?
Emil is doing good. He definitely trusts this group pretty good now. Feels comfortable around them. Probably spending more time at the gym now. To explain my EXP fee, I don't think we've had a game since I discovered this. Yeah, so I apparently didn't realize how EXP was spent, and I was way overspending EXP. So, my character has been training a lot.
Better, stronger, faster, harder, or something.
It's just a montage.
Yup. But otherwise, he's doing pretty good. Curious as to what these cups are, and I mean, they have something to do with like the end of the world or something, but that's about all I really know.
Apparently, everything we've been doing has to do with the end of the world.
I mean, I gathered that as well, which is again why it doesn't feel that much more special.
Or alternatively, the beginning of the world. Because we keep looking for old stuff. And finding it.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? There's one thing I am disappointed in, though. Charles is still alive.
Yeah, Charles is still alive. That Charles still alive.
Hey, I wasn't going in debt to Charles and that we obviously didn't take, but
Hell no.
Oh, Charles. So, what is your plan now? You've acquired all 3 of these goblets. You have a general idea of what they are supposed to be, but, again, you're not 100% sure anyway. There's theoretically some kind of map related to this entire thing.
If I recall correctly, Beckett said that once we had all 3, to give him a shout through whatever channels we could, and he would be happy to translate them for us as long as he could look at them.
Okay. Yeah.
So we need to find Beckett.
Alright, you can reach out through the channels towards Beckett. the easiest way to reach him is technically through a buddy of his, Celestine, who you have better contact with because of the entire thing with your good old Tremere ghoul that is probably now a Tremere, as far as you know. So...
Okay.
Yeah. You kind of send it through the grapevine that you are looking into what's going on now. That you have all these things. And you don't get a contact back for some time. A couple weeks actually go by with no word reaching you. So you're not even sure if, like, your reach out is successful. But after nearly exactly 2 weeks since you sent that message, you do receive some bit of information. You receive messaging in the form of a letter that shows up at the gym. And the letter says, "I'll be stopping by soon."
Okay.
Yep. That's all it says. Simple, short, no extra bit of information. Just a very simple message. Another week's gonna go by. And then, unexpectedly, as you're all kind of like doing your little training and stuff, and this has been the time period where you've been improving yourselves and taking this time to kind of like reflect on the many different things you've learned over the time thing. And you'll get a message from Candy. Nathan, honey, there's this weird man who says he knows you hanging around here. He's in your office now. He says he's a friend of yours.
Do you remember seeing him at the auction?
Possibly. I don't remember everybody from the auction.
All right. I'll be up in a little bit.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Text the other two, or just grab them from whatever equipment they're on.
Okay.
Appears we have a visitor.
Good kind or bad kind?
Not sure. Candy doesn't recognize him. But
Okay.
she also didn't know everyone at the auction, I suppose.
Yeah, I also think she was high as fuck a lot of the time.
Only part of the time, actually. She was helping run stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I only kind of
So-
got to see her when she had time off.
Yeah, she was significantly less high when she was running things.
Yeah.
All right, shall we go upstairs?
Sure.
Excellent.
All right.
Up we go to my office.
So you'll head upstairs to your office, and you will actually see someone unexpected there. It will not be Beckett, but it will be sorry, I want to get his last name correct because I'm trying to butcher it in my brain already. Where is it on this list? Aristotle de Laurent.
Oh,
That's right. I'm like, Aristotle something or other. What the hell was it? And I'm trying to look at the auction list. I'm like, I'm missing it then. It's right in front of you, where you will never see it.
Oh.
Ah,
hello.
yes. Hello. Sorry to be intruded. An associate of yours, Mr. Beckett, unfortunately, is indisposed with some business and couldn't reach you here. But he did request something of me. Which was actually quite nice of him. I'm surprised that it's ended up this way. Apparently, he thinks that I'd be better suited for this bit of information that you're reaching into. More my expertise. Is it true? I don't know. But I'm curious as to what he is thinking.
I am also curious as to what he's thinking. You were not particularly pleasant to me at the auction, whereas Beckett was much more amicable. And I'm curious why you'd be finding yourself here in his place.
We've always had an interesting relationship between the two of us. As someone that was more mentor to him than his own sire, introduced him to the ways of the Nodist, I tend to see myself as almost like a surrogate father figure. One that, like any good child, he has had fights with. But perhaps age has come a better place for him, as when we met at the auction, our mutual friend, Mr. Celestine, in fact, arranged for us to get together and to find some amicableness that we hadn't had in decades.
Interesting.
I'll keep it as simple as that.
Fair enough.
Not
So-
to sound disrespectful or anything, but we did get word that he would be coming, and then you turn up and we didn't get word that you would. Do you have any proof that you were actually sent here, or?
Well, that's a tough thing to do. As, he was going to do his best to arrive, but it wasn't necessarily part of his true plans for him to arrive. Things have been difficult in some places around the world, and he's run into some nasty business that he was investigating.
That is truly unfortunate.
In my head, I wonder if Marie found it.
Now, perhaps we can get down to business. That you have some things that I should see.
We have some things that we'd like translated, yes.
Well, where are they?
We have them. However, our agreement with Beckett was that the exchange would be he would translate, and he could then look at them for a time here. What do you ask in return for translation services?
That deal seems just as fine. Old artifacts of that are rare and unusual would be worth seeing. Perhaps also, I would say, when you're done with them, perhaps they could end up in another's care. I'm sure you're investigating something related to the old days. What it is, I don't
Indeed.
know. But
Fair enough. I will keep you in mind for a future home for my dinnerware.
yes, dinnerware it is.
So, we'll pull out the cups. I'll probably have to go down and get them from my vault.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just picturing you come up with like a case, and it's like you open it up, and they're like, got that like squishy lining,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
memory foam lining. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fascinating. Yes, this is the language of the first city. It is fairly well intact, too. Quite excellent that way. Quite fascinating. Do you mind if I take some time here and study them? Feel free to hang around.
Certainly.
But this will take me some time to discern what I'm looking into.
Of course.
Alright, he's going to be working in there for a number of hours. You're not exactly sure how long it will be, you know. He's going to be just working there, looking over things, making some notes for quite a while, though. Is there anything that any of you want to do?
I'm just going to chill in the office. Right there with him.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back and forth from being in the office to wandering around to see if anyone else is hanging around the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going back and forth between... Actually, I'm probably just at the gym till someone fetches me.
You gotta get that workout in.
Like, maybe I'll check in, like, every now and then, too, actually. Make sure I don't miss.
Seems there's more to these messages than meets the eye. Each one says to seem to say something similar. I believe Beckett mentioned you had translated one of those, yes?
Mm-hmm. And it said, 3 as 1, let the one be found, the one who guards it be found, he who gives of it be found, let all secrets be revealed.
Alright, I will try to type this into chat, what it is.
Ooh.
Seekers of the One travel far from the first. Travel far from the first, from old Ubar. Go to those that were not deluged. Those of the dynasty. Here, I'm just going to kind of type it a little bit in chat as I go. You know, just so I keep up with it. Seek the model under the sands. Seek the blueprint of that whose shadow lies within the abyss. Travel to the dread palace of Gemal.
Oh.
You will find what is inside there. Your journey will take you across a river, through the sands, and to where the ley lines meet. Beware of false monuments. They may lead you astray. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Why is things broken all of a sudden?
Uh-oh.
Our background disappeared completely.
Ooh, thank
Oh,
God.
no.
Like, I had all of us floating around and stuff. Now when I was playing around with it, we went all dark. There we go, fixed again. Everything broke for a second. Yay. This message seems to go throughout them. There's also more information here. The 3 cups each seem to mark to a different location. This one is to the Great Library. This one, the Hanging Gardens. And this one, the Temple of Lilith.
Which one is which?
The one you started with was matched to the Hanging Gardens. The one that you got from La Sombra is the Temple of Lilith. And the one that you got just last is the Great Library.
So the model under the sands is the Temple of Lilith, or
So, what era are these things from?
First City.
Beckett indicated
Okay.
that they had been made in the second city, or that they were likely made in the second city.
Yes. But they are marking the stuff from the first city. Just to let you know some information that might help you. Ubar is said to be the original name of the first city of Enoch, before the time of Caine. When he took over, so did the name changes. Some of the very notable features are also mentioned. The Great Library, the Temple of Lilith, and the Hanging Gardens were all said to be locations within Enoch.
The Hanging Gardens make me think of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
Babylon.
I think Vampire
Great-
Lore basically says that, like, these were actually the originators, and they were repeated in those civilizations after the first city fell and the second city fell, because they're supposed to be a more ancient civilization than, like, Babylon and stuff. It was during the time of the second city that other human civilizations began to arise, like Babylon, Egypt, and eventually, like, places like Greece. So this was created during the time of the second city, when they definitely would have known about them, but they were talking about the first city.
Okay.
I can also tell you that the deluge was the great flood, which destroyed the first city. Whether it was just an act of nature or a true act of some higher being is unknown, but it did wipe out the first city. The Palace of Gemma. I also know of that place, the Dread Palace. That's Caine's palace.
And where is that?
In the center of Enoch.
Oh, so lost.
Seek the model under the sands. Blueprint of the shadow whose lies within the abyss. The afterlife. A destroyed city, in a way, could have a spirit, and therefore lead to an afterlife. Perhaps there is a model of the first city out there, made by one of the antediluvians, or a fourth generation that was there. perhaps, since each of these is linked to a different building, if you can find those 3 buildings within this blueprint, maybe they triangulate the Palace of Gehenna. Beyond that, what would it mean, those of the dynasty?
Dynasty makes me think Asia.
But there would have been little contact and not so much sand in there. Strange. There's so much about this that still is a mystery, what it's saying. It's obviously leading you somewhere. I'm sorry that I couldn't be of more help after this. But it seems that somewhere out there is an ancient model of the first city. And we need these chalices to discover something about it. A hidden treasure trove?
The origin of the word dynasty is Greek. I say, looking something up on my phone.
Well, when we find
I translated it, though, you know, so it's equivalent to dynasty.
Yes. I mean,
when we find the model, I believe I know someone who might be interested in collecting it.
Indeed. Do you have a place to relax for a while? I'm not planning on running out quite right away, but you might seem like you might need more of my expertise, possibly. But I would like to settle in from the long travels.
Yes, we can provide a room for you.
Excellent.
Do you have any specific requirements for your diet?
No.
Are you able to keep your feedings non-lethal?
I'll be fine for my time here, till I return to my own feeding grounds.
Very well. Merely seeking to be polite.
Yes. He'll dismiss himself then, and I guess take whatever we give him for now. So...
So, is there a specific order that they're supposed to be read in?
The chalices?
Yeah.
You don't know. From what he said, that there was a hidden message that kind of stretched across all 3 of them, and that was the hidden message. You know, as you can kind of combine them all in a way. And that's the entire thing I typed out in the chat there.
Okay, so what was the 3 as 1, let the 1 be found, let the one who guards it be found, etc.?
That seemed to be on all 3 of them, indicating maybe that's what's sought. That's the treasure.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of telling you where to find the treasure.
Got it. Okay.
So what was the unique thing on the last one?
The unique thing on the last one?
Because you gave us the information of... so the other 2 was across all 3 as the extra message.
Yes. So you needed all three
Okay.
to unlock the message that I just put in chat. Now, granted, like that, the 3 as 1 statement, it's slightly different. But I wasn't gonna like type out it, but it effectively said the exact same thing. Each one says the same thing in a slightly different way.
Uh-huh.
Legacies of the Dynasty.
All right. So since I was not understanding which one was on which again?
And then I said to you that the one for the location that they
Original
had to be
one.
taken to, the original one was the Hanging Gardens. The second one you got was the Temple of Lilith, and the last one was the Great Library.
Okay. Got it. Alrighty. Neat.
Do we know where the first city supposedly was? At least area, like Europe, Middle East.
It is said to probably be like Middle East.
Okay.
The exact location is really unknown.
Yeah. So is it supposed to be like Mesopotamia?
Yeah, because again, it was supposed to be destroyed by some form of flooding. And the thing is, it's supposed to be like, the stories go that like it was the children of, oh god, I have to remember the name of humanity is referred to. The children of Seth, which is supposed to be humanity. Because, like, you're not sure where the biblical and, science matches in Vampire. But there is that biblical thread that kind of goes to it. Cain is supposed to be Cain from Abel. He was not the only brother. Seth was supposed to be also a child of Adam and Eve, and Seth was supposed to give birth to all of humanity. So that's why some very ancient empires will often refer to humans as the children of Seth. See, the original city was supposed to be this great city by, like, the first civilization of the children of Set. And it was supposed to be Urbor. Or Urbar. Cain came there. Cain basically made a empire. The king of Urbar was changed into the one of the second generation, Enoch, and the city was named after him. If you look in some basics of the Book of Nod, there are 3 known second generations that were Erod, Zillah, and Enoch, and those were the 3 that were chosen by Cain. And then they, of course, beget the third generation. And it was when the third generation wanted to beget their own that things just tended into chaos in there. And this was after Cain had just wandered away. He just left for one reason or another. The third generation rose up, killed the second generation. The Great Flood wiped out the city. The third generation eventually came back together. And formed the second city. Theoretically led by your progenitor, Nathan, the Venturi Antediluvian is said to be the one that, like, helped bring them back together. Because he was the one... Because, like... You have, like, a tick of, like, your people, but it's said to be, like, much less of a curse than any of the other vampires. At least that's what Ventrus say. You know, if you compare it to, like, Malkavians and Nosferatu... and Bruja, or like Gangrel, who frenzy at the drop of a hat, or Bruja that have their problems with frenzying too.
Yep.
And so it's because he was still punished for being part of it, but your Antediluvian is said to have not been part of the slaughter and to have been like that of the third generation that was the closest to Caine. And yours is also said to be dead, have been killed off in the chaos of the fall of the second city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. The Deluge is said to have killed the children of Seth, effectively the group that, like, was under that city. Now, like, because it's a big world and there's, like, historical evidence of things, and if you look into things like what frickin' werewolves will tell you and stuff, too, you know, there's a lot more to it, and it's a lot more complex of a system, but there's probably, like, is some kind of actual flood that occurred and destroyed the first city somewhere. So they mentioned that those that were not deluged. Like, if you would have asked Aristotle, that's the best translation he could give. It's not a great translation, but, like, it's more like, you know, those that were not affected by the deluge, maybe? And then he says those of the dynasty. So he's speaking of specific people.
The dynasty... If he's translating it to dynasty, that's more of a lineage-based... line of hereditary rulers of a... So he's probably... So the dynasty is probably the series of vampires. As in one passing to the other.
Except that weren't all the vampires part of the first city?
Yes.
Except for Caine himself. So then vampires got deluged.
Yeah.
So it's...
The only reason Caine didn't get deluged is he got depressed and wandered off for a while, and then came back like 1,000 years later and was like, "What the happened?"
I leave for 5 minutes.
I leave for like, you know, like a century or two, and I come back, and, you know, all my second generation's all dead. What the hell did you kids do? You're all cursed. Screw you all. I'm going home.
I told you to play nicely.
Something I find interesting, though, is that it says, go to those that were not deluged, those of the dynasty, meaning maybe someone survived.
Well, all the vampires survived the deluge. It's just humans didn't survive it. That were there.
Humans in the first city.
Yeah. All the humans in the first city, dead.
Okay.
I think we're looking for some sort of human kingdom.
I know.
Or other non-vampire.
Perhaps. Yeah, so perhaps there were humans, perhaps ghouls that survived the deluge? Maybe that's who we're looking for, what they went and did next?
It's really unsure if there were many ghouls under the second or third generation. The only...
I understand, but more my point is... and I know you're also trying to give us hints and stuff.
I'm trying to say,
this,
like,
but...
the direction you're going is neat, but you're never going to find it in that direction because there is no information.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So what we're looking for is someone who has a model of the first city, but wasn't deluged.
Why don't we ask the Great Lord Cockroach?
Could do that.
He's been around a while.
He has been around a while.
He doesn't freak me out that much anymore. It's real neat.
Maybe not vampires or humans.
Werewolves.
What other cultures use a dynasty?
Asian cultures, but, like, there wasn't much contact with Asian cultures until much past the second city when it came to Western vampires.
Yeah, but let's see.
I mean, the big one I can think of is the pharaohs of Egypt. And that would definitely work with the whole sands thing.
I will tell
Mummies.
you, Middle East and, like, ancient Egypt, some of their family lines were called dynasties. So you are down the right track for that, at least. Idea.
says.
Did you guys ever tell me that one guy who was bothering you was a mummy?
Yeah, he was one of the Undying.
They
I'm
said
pretty sure we
undying,
called you that.
which is like which is the common term for a mummy. You know.
Yeah, does my character know that?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
definitely something we would have warned you about, because we were expecting to
Okay.
get into a potential fight with him in Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, mummies have, or Egyptians had dynasties. They were in that area. Mummies may have something to do with it.
Not asking him, though.
Well, not all undying are from Egypt anyway.
Yeah, but I'm not asking Mr. Saken.
Yeah, and mummy's a very slander term, you know. Just technically.
I know, but
Vampires don't give a shit.
Anybody have a
just
handy map of ley lines?
I just pull up my phone. Yes, it'll time.
You are probably really unsure of the actual ley lines. That was something
Yeah,
that
but
maybe that would not be like actual ley lines. Anybody with like any of you that have who's a dot of a cult?
I do.
I have 2 dots of occult.
Okay, you
I
all
know.
know that like the common misconception of ley lines when it comes to humans is completely different than what mages believe and what werewolves probably believe. Ley lines might be referring to places of power like werewolves and their cairns, where they meet together, or possible places of power that a mage might use.
Oh. Well, then that's easy. Or should I say, well, that's Yeezy.
Yeah, I knew that was fucking coming.
So, yeah, you can call on Easy for help if you have an idea of where to start.
Yeah.
So-
So it's distinctly possible that dynasties have something to do with the Undying, and that the ley lines have some. We should probably figure out what the ley lines are, because that would probably be a next clues to dig.
That'll give us a helpful target.
Yeah.
I definitely think the river thing is about the River Nile.
That's one of the big ones.
Exactly, I know.
We're going to take you across
want
a
that.
river, through the sands, and to where the ley lines meet. Yes, that is definitely a possibility. The river is probably either Nile. If I had to guess, it's either Nile or Tigris or Euphrates. Those are the important ones in that area.
There can't be that many ley lines in that area, right?
I mean, probably lots of ley lines all over the place.
Yeah.
Someone wants to give me a quick history check. I will tell you some things quickly for what you're discussing.
What is history?
History
and,
intelligence.
No,
Oh,
what is
history,
the history?
Oh God, yeah.
Academics?
Academics. Academics intelligence.
I have a whole one of them.
I have a whole one of them too.
I can roll intelligence.
Target 6.
Sure.
I got a success.
Yeah, yeah. You will know that this actually does fit with both ancient Egypt and ancient Mesopotamia. It sounds like, because both of them had dynasties, and both of them have rivers, and both of them have sand.
Yeah, not to mention there was kind of primordial Egypt before pyramids and stuff that we think of them. Egypt has been around for a long time.
And both of them have, like, if you go by some of the information, false monuments. They might be talking about monuments that these ancient people built. Unfortunately, both of them built ancient monuments. So you do have, like, these two really good ones that you know about commonly. There might be a few others in that region that you don't know about, but that kind of, like, you've got a good idea of those basics, at least right now.
I mean, the false monument I can think of that comes to the top of my head when it comes to leading people astray is the Tower of Babel. That's my first thought. At least in that area.
I was thinking more, make sure you're using the real ones, not the fake ones that somebody built later, or else you'll go in the wrong place.
Hmm.
But if what you said about things being built off of older things, then there may be something equivalent.
Or it might just mean don't go to Babylon, don't go to Alexandria.
It's true, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, don't go to the ones people built later. Not these specific things. Okay.
Yeah, I also think that it's important to keep that in mind, though, because you might also still be right.
Mm-hmm.
We have certainly not negated anything. All right, so... where is Easy staying now?
Can I make a suggestion of going on the first break? I actually have to use the bathroom.
Wow, that sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are just at our first break. That sounds good. And we can figure more out.
Yeah, I knew we were about time, and I also...
Yep. Okay, so, yeah. I wasn't even paying attention to the time, actually. So thank you.
Yep.
I was enjoying your process of thought processes and trying to be like, here's what your character might know a little bit of with your academics. Just enough.
Yep.
It's
just my bladder has filled up quite a lot in the past 5 minutes.
So we'll go to a quick break here. If you need to use the restroom, grab a snack or drink, go ahead and do it, and we'll be back shortly to continue the adventures. See you in a second, folks.
And we'll